A very good morning to all of you. I welcome Professor Amrish and Vidyarthi sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bikaner Technical University, Bikaner, Dr. J.P. Bhamu sir, Principal Engineering College, Bikaner, Dr. Manoj Kudi sir, Registrar Engineering College, Bikaner, Dr. Vikas Sharma sir, Head Department of Electrical Engineering, Engineering College, Bikaner, my dear colleagues from my institution, and all the participants. I welcome you all in the behalf of organizing committee in this 5-day FDP on integration of renewable energy systems. Basically, this FDP is financially supported from the AICT and also sponsored from AICT. That is one of the initiative taken by the AICT ATAL, that is AICTE Learning and Training Academy. So basically, the objective of this FDP or the theme of this FDP is integration of renewable energy systems into the grid. So as we have seen in many newspapers in today also, that we are having the energy crisis or we are having the power crisis all over the world. So that is this problem is because of the depletion of the fossil fuels as well as the higher use of the energy or the conventional energy. So that's why now the all are moving towards the use of renewable energy systems, which basically which the main renewable energy systems which we will see in this FDP are wind and solar basically. So this has been added by the AICT as a thrust area. So this is one of the thrust area added by this AICT in their ATAL, that is AICTE Training and Learning Academy. So as far as the information of this FDP is concerned, there are about more than 100, about 120 participants are there from all over the country. It is interesting that we are having participants from almost all of the states. We are having participants from the deep south to the north. We have participants from the Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, UP, MP, Andhra Pradesh. All over the country, we have the participants from all over. In this FDP, we are having 14 sessions, and we are having very nice, very good experts from the various IITs and NITs. Some name I would like to mention here. We are having Professor Nilanjan Senroy sir, who is Chair Professor of NTPC. He is from IIT Delhi, Department of Electrical Engineering. Professor Sukumar Misra sir, who is also Professor at IIT Delhi. And many more IITs. We have Dr. Manas Kumar Jaina, who is from IIT Palakkad, Kerala, and one more Professor Pratyasa Bhui, who is also from IIT Dharwad, Karnataka, and one more expert in the renewable energy, Dr. Prasant Kumar, is from IIT Delhi, and we have Professor Sathan sir also. He is very much associated with us during our TechUp activities also. He is also one of the expert in one of the session, and many more experts are also there from the different regional colleges also. We are having one or two experts from the RTU and some engineering colleges also. So that's in that way we are having 14 sessions throughout the 5 days. So with this information, I would like to invite Dr. J.P. Bhamu sir to please say a few words. Bhami sir, please.
Very good morning to all and present FDP. First of all, I place my heart thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor who has given his valuable time to us. And sir, welcome in FDP. And of course, the contribution has been made by the Electric Department headed by Vikas Sharma from by applying a particular program. It is very easy to conduct very simple manner. It requires a lot of efforts. Listening the lot of speakers from the institutions, through discussion will be had in the
Sir, may I request, please? I think you should turn off your camera. Sir, am I audible? Actually, your voice is breaking. May I please request that please, I think you should turn off your camera.
Okay.
Maybe the voice will be clear. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Uh, okay. It's okay.
Yes, it's all right, sir.
So
Thank you.
just we are discussing about, yeah. Thank you. Just as Ganesh Prajapat sir has told that there is energy crisis. Not I am not thinking about this particular energy crisis, but there is a energy equity also, because once there is a development in any field that requires energy, so energy is the most important, the source of the development. Sometimes there are a lot of platforms where we are discussing about the sustainable development. So in case of the sustainable development, the role of the energy or the role of the energy generation is plays very important role. And in the world, when we see the situation of the this particular energy, the distribution or energy generation or energy consumption, you see, just I'm going through one article that basically having the comparison between the developed countries, in the developed countries, what they are basically consuming the energy, and the underdeveloped countries. One example of the UK is that they are using 32,000 approximately kilowatt of energy per capita, and the underdeveloped countries of the say Republic of Congo, they are using around 500 kilowatt of energy. You see, there is a large disparity among the energy consumption in case of the developed countries, in case of the underdeveloped countries or the developed countries. Similarly, still there are approximately 3 billion people globally who are basically using the unclean energy like wood, coal, charcoal, etc. for cooking and heating purpose. So you see, this disparity basically is responsible for the energy crisis also. Like if we want to bridge this particular gap of energy disparity, we have to use the unconventional resources of the energy, like what we are producing the energy from the coal based. Basically, it is the cheapest source of the energy generation system. So, but that have some the disadvantage also. Basically, that creating the problem of the pollution. From last 10 years, if we see the data, that there is of course, there is a decline in case of the coal-based power plant. But still, in the global scenario, if we see in the global scenario, lot of effort has to be put up in the renewable energy sector, so that the pollution problems may be mitigated. Like in India, of course, the government of India also doing a lot of efforts to mitigate this particular problem. Like our aim is to provide the clean energy to the masses, and that for that particular purpose, what we are trying to include the renewable energy in case of the energy generation systems. So I think in the times to come, this particular thing, this particular situation of producing or generating electricity from the coal-based power plant to the renewable energy, that will be the high in demand, and certainly we will do something in this particular field. I am not of the expert of this particular field, but surely, definitely, the experts, whatever the deliberation will the come from this particular FDP, they will be helpful in a right way. So I think I put up my words over here, and I place on record thanks to the resource persons as well as the participants, and AICT, of course, they have given this particular opportunity to us, and sincerely efforts by Dr. Grace Prajapat ji and the electrical department. So thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Over to Grace ji.
Ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inspirational and supportive words. We are having good motivation from your side, sir, also. And all the supports, whatever we need during the FDP and even without any kind of even event also. So thank you very much, sir. So now I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Ambrish sir and Vidyarthi, sir, to please say a few words. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ganesh, for giving me an opportunity to interact with the wonderful, the FDP programs, which is whether I'm audible?
Yes, yes, sir. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
ओके, तो सबसे पहले तो आप सब लोगों को इतने अच्छे विषय पे एफडीपी आयोजन करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। अभी प्रोफेसर भामू बता रहे थे कि जो है सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट भी है, एनर्जी डिस्पैरिटी भी है, और ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारे भारतवर्ष में एनर्जी की रियली क्राइसिस है, बट इक्विटी इज द मेजर कंसर्न एज द you know we are not reaching out to the most of the the people who are residing in the remote area, and as well as the rural things, rural parivesh mein. Now uh, I'm seeing also that the most of the deliberation is touching the the almost all the part, starting from bioenergy and solar energy, wind energy, and the other other form of the energy. Well, uh, this century is basically dedicated to the biotechnology and you know the nanotechnology, which has immense the scope for welfare of the the society by means of the living standards, our you know uh, uh, जो हमारी सोच है, जो बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम से हम सीख सकते हैं, उन सबको लगाया गया है. बट equally important thing is that we have to integrate, like the solar energy. We have a lot of scope in Rajasthan, especially because we have the the sunlight is available for higher of the time, and definitely we can utilize that source of energy. And the government of India has already put up a lot of efforts, and in the Maharashtra and other things, we have to also be instrumental in making those use infrastructure on the solar the energy generation, and that could be really good. Another thing is, as Bhamu was telling of the sustainable development, and for the sustainable development we have a huge requirement of the energy. We have to think of, and the same time Rajasthan is having a water crisis, and I was told that most of the the district, we have the water supply, but it is a saline water. So what we can do, we can think of utilizing the the micro algae, which is have already, or using the the some of the species from the Sambar lake, which is available in Rajasthan, and we have to identify those micro algae, and for the desalination of water, number one. And these the microalgae is very rich in the oil contents, which can be suitable, which is very suitable for biodiesel formation. So it can also help us in the government's efforts that the biodiesel has to be increased from which is presently in 5% and 10% in petrol mix, but it should be as high as 20%. So what happens, we can reduce our dependence on the fossil fuels. Same time, we have to enrich the requirement of the national requirement of making the biodiesel content higher. And the third things, that we can have an alternative source of the energy in the form of biodiesels, okay, and the desalination of the water, which will provide the the our citizen for making those kind of the water availability for the drinking purpose and for irrigation also. Same time, we have to also look at, the hydrogen, which is, now the entire world is after this resource. And because it is the cleanest form of the energy, if we can, and the biological, through the biological process as well as the chemical process, hydrogen can be made available. And now there are number of, the sustainable model for storing of the hydrogen, which was the bottleneck in, providing these kind of, the energy which has to be there. So in totality, if you, go for these two sources, I think, and along with the solar, our most of the problem can be resolved. And we should also, the mitigates up to some extent the, the carbon emission, which is a major concern. And now in the world, people are afraid of that what they have, committed for, reduction of carbon by, this 2050. That can also be achievable if we can look at the hydrogen. And a lot of things like, the most of the technologies are coupled, like the wastewater treatment. We have the, the methane, hydrogen, and some sort of, using the microbial fuel cells, you can generate the electricity, you know by using the membranes and semi-permeable membranes. And that kind of the things we have to integrate all form of the energy, and that should be carrying from one place to another place. So this can also be utilized for the, for transportation purpose, as well as, for charging it, the electrical vehicle, which is the, utmost requirement for reducing the carbon. So I'm sure that most of the expert, as I have seen from the, the list of the resource person in this FDP, they will definitely, put up the light. And one, I think Dr. Rajneesh, who is from NIT Kurukshetra, is, is speaking about the, the challenges in bioenergy and other things. So this would be, though we are not, we may not be belongs to the biotechnological, things, but whatever the, the potential has to be there, we have to change. Like, the electronic, if the person is from electronic fields, like the IoT, which is the very thrust area, we can utilize these IoTs for, the integration of the energies, and synchronize them in order to get those benefit, which is very much needed to the society. So again, all the best to, the this FDP programs. I'm really, honored to be the part of this. Thank you very much for inviting me to the inaugural function of this. Thank you very much. Bye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable feedback and the motivation and suggestions and the guidance you have provided. I have seen that even, sir, you are also doing kind of research, kind of new research activities in the research office also. Although I am also associated in some way in the research office. So I have seen that we are very much interested to look forward in the area of multidisciplinary research. So I am sure that we will be at new heights with under your supervision and your guidance. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And you, sir, very much rightly said that we are having good opportunities in the field of energy in Rajasthan. Although we are having the participants from around the country, and the participants must be knowing that we are having the highest amount of energy generating plant in the case of solar at Vadla near Jodhpur also. So we are having a big plant in the Asia that is the highest capacity plant that has a capacity of around 1000 megawatt. So So I am very much thankful to you, sir, for being here in this FDP to guide us. So now I would like to request Dr. Manoj Kodi, sir, Registrar, Engineering College, Bikaner, to please put vote of thanks to all. Thank you, sir. Manoj Kodi, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Principal, sir. First of all, let me congratulate Dr. Ganesh P. Prajapat to getting this kind of FDP from AICT and conducting FDP on a very relevant topic, which is talk of the century. You can say next century will be we will be changing the scope of the dirty fuel to the clean energy. So this is very relevant topic. Let me brief about the institute. Our institute is established in year 1999. It is only a 22-year-old, or you can say young institute, and we are always there to get the opportunity from any government agency or any public or private agency in the field of FDPs or conducting programs or getting consultancy and projects. So this is 6th FDP under ATAL we are conducting this year, which is means remarkable in its field. Or we have conducted FDPs in all the fields, starting from IoT to renewable energy and outcome-based education. So whole credit goes to the principal, sir, and their team to inspiring the faculty member to writing for grant to the AICT and any other agencies. I'm not expert of renewable energy field, but as Vice Chancellor sir has said about the solar energy, and Dr. Ganesh Prajapat has also talked about the solar energy and its scope in Rajasthan. Talked about Badla, and I have seen the integration of that solar energy. When you go there and you see, you feel the temples of the future. I have witnessed that one. This is around 40 square kilometer area. It's not easiest task. It has been developed under 5 to 6 stages, and that's means outcome. And sir, I want to brief you about all the participants and Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, about the other programs which we are having or which we will be establishing in our institute. I have already told about the AICT ATAL FDP programs. Last year we have got 4 programs, and this year 6. And this year we have got hostel accommodation for under CAPS scheme from AICT, grant of around 3 crore rupees has been sanctioned, and construction has been started. And this year we have also got 2 refresher programs, one in AI ML and second one is IoT under AICT IST refresher induction program. And we are establishing one state-of-art solar energy center under the MSME Aspire scheme, which will be giving training to the students, not our of college, from vicinity also, because we are talking about the scope and opportunity of solar power in Rajasthan. But thing is that the technical manpower which is not available. So we are having aim to train around 200 persons per year from this state-of-art solar energy center or solar energy means we will be talking about off-grid, on-grid solar systems. We will be talking about rooftop solar system, installing of motors and pumps, which is operated by solar energy. And along with we will be training with solar lights. And with this, we are always running behind the schemes and opportunities which can be granted to us. I myself has written a project about the solar energy, the mapping of solar field or under geospatial technology of DST. So means we are working as a team to get the opportunity from the AICT, IST or any central or state funding agency which can fund, and we can train our students, and we can also train the people which is required training to get the job prospectus which is available in the Rajasthan. So with these words, I would like to again thank the participants who have joined this program, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Honorable Principal Sir, and Dr. Ganesh Prajapat Sir, Rituraj Soni Sir for conducting such kind of FDP. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. Thank you, Manoj Kodi, sir. So at the end, I once again, I sincerely express my gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to be here in this event. I also very much thankful to Honorable Principal, sir, Engineering College Bikaner, Manoj Kodi, sir, Vikas Sharma, sir, and also very much thankful to the organizing team we are having. Dr. Rituraj is there, who is helping hand for me. And I'm also very much thankful to Dr. Jitendra Jain, Mr. Surinder Singh Tamar, Dr. Mahendra Bhadu, who has put his effort during the planning and execution of this FTP. At the end, would like to thanks to AICTE also, who has provided the grant for organizing this event. So with these words, I am very much thankful once again to all of you. So thank you very much. Now I may request the guest may please leave the meeting, because we are having now the central inauguration program that is to be telecasted by the AICTE, wherein the chief guest, Mr. Sudeep, who is from Adobe, will be there, and the chairman of AICT, Professor Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe, will also be there in that in central inauguration session. So with these words, I am very much thankful to all the guests who are present in the this inaugural ceremony. So thank you very much. Now I request participants to please be here in the meeting, because we will share here from here only that link which will be being delivered by the AICTE. So thank you all very much. Please participants, please be here only. So I am sharing the screen from their YouTube, wherein the program from AICT will be live, wherein Professor Sudeep, Mr. Sudeep from Adobe, and Professor Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe from AICT, who is chairman there. They will be there as a guest of honor. One more thing, participants, please be here, because the attendance for this session will also be recorded through some Google form, and that Google form will only be floated in this chat box of this meeting only. So you will get your attendance only and only when you fill your this Google form that to be floated in the chat box. Rituraj sir, please share the screen from the that is to be telecasted from the AICT through YouTube, if possible, please.
Just wait, sir.
Yeah.
Visible, sir?
Yes, it is being shared. Okay. Yes, it is visible. Right, sir. Please go ahead.
So, actually, sir, it will be starting in few minutes, I think. As you can see, it is waiting for media AICT 22nd November. So, let's wait for a while. I hope it will be starting in few minutes. I think every tab is shared. Just wait. Just wait. Now, sir, visible, sir?
Yes, it is being shared. It is being sharing. Okay. Now it's visible. I think that program has not been started yet.
Not
Is
started.
it?
I'm also sharing the link in the chat box. YouTube link.
I think there is no need to share there, because okay, all right. But I think I request all the participants to please be here only.
No,
This
they,
is only
they have to
for
stay.
20 to 40 to 25 minutes.
They have to
Or
stay here
if
because attendance
any
link will be shared
candidates
here
who
only.
want to attend, yes, yes, please. Rituraj sir, are you there?
Yes, sir, definitely. I'm here only.
But your screen is not actually, that is not full screen.
Just wait, sir. Mm, It is not full screen because इसको सर अभी जब स्टार्ट होगा ना तो इस पे फुल स्क्रीन पे आएगा वो जो इसका मीडिया प्लेयर होता है तब वो आई कैन क्लिक ऑन दैट तो इसको एक बार स्टार्ट होने
Okay.
देते हैं तब ये फुल स्क्रीन पे आ जाएगा
Or let me share from my side.
या इट विल बी गुड
Should
एज
I
यू नो
share from my side? Because it is also open from my side also.
okay you can share so that I at 11:15:20 I have to leave also for another lecture so
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll stop sharing.
So although it has not been started, that inaugural session from the AICT that has not been started yet, but maybe 4 or 5 minutes it will be start.
Yes, sir, it will be start very soon.
Yes, it has not started yet. So now is it visible? My YouTube screen is visible, I think.
Yes, it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So participants, please be here only. The inaugural session from the AICT will be start soon. So please be here only. And some more information is there for the participants. Since you might be knowing and you have also got a thing from the mail also in the confirmation mail that you must have at least 80% of attendance if you are collectively your attendance, then it should be 80% attendance. And one more thing that you must have the 60% marks in the event, which in the quiz that will be arranged at the end of this program. So in that way, you should be there in each and every session so that you could be able to register your attendance, and that should not go below the 80%. So in that way, you should be here in each and every session.
One more thing, Dr. Ganesh, like we'll be sharing attendance link for every session. So missing of one
Yes.
session may count the absent. So try to attend all the session, and the link will be shared on the Google Meet itself. Okay. So be there in every session till the end. Thank you.
Supreet, may we start?
Yeah, sure.
So the
morning.
session is started.
Good morning, everyone. Rahul, please place Saraswati Pradana and Deep Prajwala. Good morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
everyone.
I
I
heartily welcome
heartily welcome
our chief guest
our chief
for
guest
today's
for
inaugural
today's
session,
inaugural session,
Supreet
Supreet
Nagarajoti, who is
Nagarajoti, who
heading
is
India
heading
and
India
Asia
and
Pacific
Asia
for the
Pacific for the
education as well
education
as
as well as
digital
digital
media for
media
Adobe
for
India
Adobe
Limited.
India Limited.
Our very
Our
own
very own
visionary
visionary
chairman,
chairman,
Professor Anil
Professor Anil
Sahasrabudhe, who has
Sahasrabudhe, who
changed the
has
face
changed
of
the face of
AICTE
AICTE
and is
and
navigating
is
the future
navigated
of
the
learning
future of
in
learning
technical
in technical
education by
education
various
by various
initiatives and his
initiatives and his
untiring
untiring
efforts
efforts
working
working
non-stop. An
non-stop.
amazing
An
team
amazing
at
team
ATAL,
at ATAL,
Dattaji, Gargji,
Dattaji,
and
Gargji,
all other
and
my
all other
colleagues.
my colleagues.
Every Monday,
Every
we
Monday,
start
we start
these
these
FDPs, that is
FDPs,
faculty
that is
development
faculty development
programs, with the
programs, with
sole
the sole
objective and
objective
motto
and motto
as to how
as to
can we
how
make
can we
our
make
faculty
our
members
faculty members
motivated,
motivated,
energized,
energized,
competent, and
competent,
ensuring
and
that all
that all
components of
components
teaching
of
learning,
teaching learning,
that is,
that is,
whether it is
whether
core
it is core
competency in the
competency in
subject,
the subject,
pedagogy,
pedagogy,
examination
examination
reforms, or
reforms,
making
or
them
making
aware
them
of the
aware of the
ongoing
ongoing
technological trends
technological
in
trends in
industry,
industry,
academia industry
academia.
linkages, this knowledge transfer, everything we try to equip them with, so that when they go to their class, their transactions are highly enriching. Their transactions are highly beneficial for our students. So why do we need these FTPs so rigorously and so continuously? It is based on three things: the changing profession, the changing nature of students, and the changing nature of teaching learning. When we talk about changing nature of profession, we can't even imagine to what extent and to what length a teacher touches the lives of a student. And with this paradigm, with this pandemic, there is a paradigm shift in teaching learning, where our teaching and learning tools have changed, where our way of teaching in a digital mode, or if I may say blended mode, has completely transformed. It has changed. Students' involvement or engagement, it is no longer a monologue, it is no longer a unidirectional communication. Rather, it is where students are equal partners, if not more, in creating this knowledge, in absorbing this knowledge, and then subsequently in applying this knowledge. And then when I talk about teaching learning, I have already said whether it is about the what kind of tools we have, what is the direction of it. It is multi-directional, it is multicultural, it is multilingual, it is multinational. This is the collaborative teaching learning process. And this is the reason why we try to equip all our faculty members continuously. Now, when we talk about this, I mean, it's an age-old management thing, that attitude, skill, and knowledge. And of course, in this specific sequence, so we want all our teachers who are attending these faculty development programs need to do an introspection and retrospection and realize that they really need to change the way they have been teaching. We want them to understand that their students are equal partners in this knowledge creation. And we want them to acquire these skills. For this, we have these ATAL FDPs, and we also have another one where National Initiative for Technical Teachers Training, where we try to teach them on examination reforms, pedagogical approaches, teaching learning processes, and so on and so forth. And of course, then apply these knowledge so that the last student sitting at the last bench is truly benefited. We would be very eager to listen from our industry partner, and that is the reason I would keep it very brief. Our only request is kindly take these FDPs very, very seriously and be very, very quality conscious. This is my appeal. This is my request to all our coordinators. We have ingrained peer assessment for better enriching FDP's quality. Please make sure that these FDPs are conducted in the most sincere and in the most serious manner, because at the end, teachers and students are at the core of any teaching learning process. Thank you so very much. All the best. Now I would request our dynamic, our visionary, our affectionate Chairman, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, to kindly address this gathering. Thank you so much, sir.
Namaskar. Good morning to all of you. Thank you, Mamtaji. At the outset, I would like to also welcome Mr. Supreet Nagaraju, Head Digital Media South Asia Adobe, and all 58 institutions, either their directors or the coordinators for handling 58 ATAL FDPs in various emerging areas. Welcome to this platform. It's very important, as Mamata said already, that we have this kind of a program started about 3 years ago for empowering our faculty members. And when we look at our new national education policy, one of the chapters is exclusively devoted to how we can create motivated, energized, inspirational faculty members in our institutions. This is very important because faculty members, once they join an institution at the age of around 27, 28 or up to 30, they remain there for about 3 to 4 decades in an institution and carry forward the message of excellence that has to be given to the generations of students. And that's why training of these faculty members is absolutely important. We look at it from 2 perspectives. One is when a faculty joins the profession of teaching, what are the requirements that one has to understand, go through, the nuances of that profession, and how do they handle that? For that, we have a faculty certification program in technical education, which we have done for the first time anywhere in the world. In fact, for teaching in schools and high schools, you require B.Ed, D.Ed, but for teaching in higher education, be it in a college, be it in a university, be it in a engineering college, law college, or medical college, we don't require any special pedagogical training. But we have only our master's degree, PhD degree, and come there. And we find that these teachers struggle a lot in the formative years of about 7, 8 years in order to get adjusted to the profession of teaching. Any special pedagogical training. But we have only our master's degree, PhD degree, and come there. And we find that these teachers struggle a lot in the formative years of about 7, 8 years in order to get adjusted to the profession of teaching. Because it is not just the knowledge transfer or the information transfer, which earlier was also an important domain. And today, through internet, through YouTube, through MOOC courses, through a variety of means, a student is having access to all the information that probably teacher is going to give in a classroom environment. So why should the students come to a class? In fact, everything is available on the platform. And therefore, teachers' role is much more vibrant, much more different. How they can engage in the classes in terms of interactions, how they will bring in some problem statements and make them to solve in teams, how they generate a time management or communication skill among students. These are all important facets. And therefore, there is a teacher certification program of 8 modules which AICT has mandated, and without this, no faculty member will become a regular faculty member. We are going ahead and also developing more such programs or modules for teachers who are already assistant professors to become associate professors, or from associate to the professors. So this is one aspect where teaching learning system or the enthusiasm that is required to be generated among students, all of that is catered to. But the other side is teachers, when they graduate, they will be in the profession, as I said, 3.5 to 4 decades, and a lot of technology changes. And these are all becoming part of the regular curriculum. When these are new courses embedded in the curriculum, there will be no teacher who is expert in that domain, and therefore ATAL Academy plays that significant role of training faculty members in all the emerging areas. And I don't want to mention them like AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, augmented reality, virtual reality, cyber security, data analytics, which are all areas which are going to create tomorrow's jobs. And unless teacher is first empowered, teacher is equipped, they will not be able to handle the classes and satisfy the thirst and hunger of the students in the classrooms. And that's why this training program under ATAL Academy, where last year we trained more than 150,000, this year our target is 200,000, huge number of people being trained. This will also help in what we call holistic, multidisciplinary education being imparted. And the spirit of lifelong learning, of self-learning, is also going to be imbibed through teachers themselves first becoming great learners, and in turn they will motivate, inspire students to be the learners. Once we become learners, come what it may, and however different technology which will come, students will be confident that they will be able to learn that subject. Maybe it will take about a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but I will be able to master anything that comes fresh, new. I remember we started with word processing. There was a Kywriter software. Then there were many other things which came in. And for writing thesis or anything, we have to develop. Unless we are constant, lifelong learners, there is no way to go. Secondly, there is a mode of learning which has been happening in a blended form. Thanks to COVID, we have all learned how to teach and learn in an online process. But now, once the pandemic is over, classes will start in regular mode. We should not forget the lessons that are learned in terms of blending education. That's what we are doing. We have internships, which are important because students getting only theoretical knowledge is not good enough. And therefore, all these emerging area technology courses of FDP under ATAL, they have an element of hands-on, the element of practice. And unless we send our students to startups or maybe large or small, industries, maybe they go to Adobe and learn different types of software that they have and how they have to be used effectively in order to create new products and processes. So this is very important. So internship on one side, hands-on training, along with that theoretical basis is significant. And these all 58 FDPs, I'm sure teachers will take them seriously, attend all the classes for the next 1 week, write whenever required those assignments, exams, and then get that certificate, which is also important for their promotions. But more important than promotions, that pleasure of learning, pleasure of I have understood something new. And that should give you more immense satisfaction than the promotion itself. I think with these few words, I once again welcome Supreet Nagaraju for being with us and give us an industry perspective on how teachers need to be trained. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring address, as always. And we, under your chairmanship, we all are committed to ensure that our national education policy is implemented in letter and spirit, and ensuring that our faculty members are motivated, committed, and energized. Dattaji, kindly introduce Supreet Nagaraju ji.
You are mute. You are muted. Datta, you are muted. Yes, now it is audible. Yeah, you had kept yourself muted.
Sorry. So thank you. We have been fortunate to have the eminent persona from the industry, academic, and the utility work in the area of digital media. It's my proud privilege to introduce Supreet Nagaraju ji. He is the head of education, digital media, Adobe India and South Asia. Supreet Nagaraju is the head education, digital media from Adobe Systems, India and South Asia. In his role, he is responsible for Adobe Education business operations, growing the sales and marketing functions, driving strategic partnership, alliances, expanding and channel partners, ecosystems, and driving cloud services opportunities within the educational institutions, education ministries, and mission mode projects in the region. Supreet ji, prior to Adobe, been worked for the ABIA Global Connect as a head enterprise and global accounts. where he was responsible for leading the business division, strategic expansion into emerging markets, formulating key partnership and launching new products tailored for local markets with a triple digit growth year on year. Before Avya, Supreet ji was the business head for the SMB vertical at Dell India. Supreet ji is also the co-chair of FICCI Task Force member Higher Education, member of the Haryana Government Task Force Education and Skilling, member of the board IITM NESCOM Digital Skill Academy, member of the CII Education Subcommittee East India. He is, regular feature in our speakers, and he is an alumni of IIM Bangalore. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our kind invitation. Please address the August gathering.
Namaskar, Anilji. Thank you so much for the opportunity, the entire AICT leadership and all the dignitaries on the call. A very good morning to the entire education leadership and academic leadership of India. With that, you've heard about me, but in simple words, what I'd like to share is I'm here to share my experiences. I don't think I can profess. Many of you all know a lot about, what are the latest technologies. A little bit of, snippets that I will give you over the next 10-15 minutes, trying to share what's happening in the industry, how is it evolving, what are the split-second changes that are happening from, different industry verticals, how are people, behaving across different industry verticals, early adopters, laggards, people who were forced into it because of COVID-induced, scenarios, and so on and so forth. So if I may have the sharing rights, let me just bring up my slide for a quick minute, and then we can confirm, one of you can confirm that accordingly I'll get started. Amit, if you could kindly confirm, is my screen?
Yeah. No,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So let me just keep it in this mode itself. Is it okay if should I go to the full screen mode? Is it visible to all of you?
It's fine, sir.
Okay.
Even full
Great.
screen will be better. I think you go to full screen mode.
Okay. Yeah. So got it. Great. So first things first. Learning is definitely not a spectator sport, right? It's not an IPL cricket match. Neither it is, a movie shop that we watch on Netflix or on any of our Star TVs day in and day out, right? It's an interactive journey, right? And what you send as a word out of mouth or image that you're sharing has got, humongous impact in terms of how we, stimulate the brain to react of thousands of students who are sitting on the other side. And the mediums that you use today, not one, but it is multilateral or multi-channel in nature. Now, why am I touching upon that? You all know many of the interactions that happen. But if you were to look at, your cross-section of your classrooms, some people are learners of text, some people learn by images, some people learn by animations, some people learn only by looking at things and doing things physically. But traditionally, we've been in the mode of, one-way communication, and then there's some percentage of activities that has been given, and people do learn. Now the world is changing significantly. People want to experience learning. Students want to learn, only by experience. And why do they do that? Because only when you have a experience of failing, learning as a sinusoidal wave, that is when your success rate and your ability to, innovate becomes your forefront of your learning process. And the subject of today's discussion is definitely on how do you prepare your students in the trillion-dollar digital economy. Now, let me talk a little bit about what is the digital economy that we are in. We are in the midst of digital first, right? What do I mean by that? The whole world is changing, not on technology, platforms, processes, It is all about experiences. Just to give you an example, I want to travel from my home all the way to, let's say, Vidhan Sauda in Bangalore. And I have different means by which I can reach there. And the experience that goes through it, how I book a cab through Ola or an Uber, and how I read, various, newspapers or daily business news through different mediums, how I interact with my colleagues have changed significantly over a period of time. Right? In the last 4 to 5 years, particularly, the whole world is tuning towards experiential engagement and not so much about which product, what category of product, that makes a difference. Unless and until businesses reach the ulterior motive of the individual experiential engagements, it's of no meaning. You may be the biggest company in the world, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. The same thing applies to education. You may be one of the best experts in your subject. It doesn't really matter if you can't, reach the ulterior motive of the individual student, what he or she is willing to learn or experience as an end. Now, a little bit of a rewind to the previous slide. Now, why is it that it is important for you to prepare your students for the success in trillion-dollar digital economy, particularly on digital economy, right? Digital is no longer another technology. It's a fabric. It's a language for everybody's success, right? If you're not fluent in digital skilled manpower, in addition to the specializations that they are doing, they're bound to fail. They're bound to fail, right? It is a language. It's just like saying, during my days, unless and until you learn communication specifically in English, spoken, written, and verbal part of it, and also in terms of visual, now, the students are bound to fail, right? And given the impetus that has happened in the current last 1.5 years, particularly the digital economy has taken a humongous impact and a leap in terms of digital experience. Take, for example, retail stores, right? So if you look at many of the retail stores today, retail stores for the last 20 months were shut down. Many of them, whether it is Big Bazaar, whether it is, look at Pantaloons, whether you look at any of the malls, everybody was forced to look at an online as a business first. Same thing if you were to look at anything to do with your hotels or any food business for that matter. So this is an induced model where you had to augment some of them. And people who are already jumped into it, just to give you an example, Paytm, or whether it is any of your online magazines that you are looking at, or an IPL match that you watch on Disney Hotstar, which had already jumped into the mobile application as an area. For them, it was an augmentation. Now, if you look at the cross-section of the entire society, entire industry, everybody has moved from roti, kapda, makan to roti, kapda, makan and mobile. So essentially, the whole definition of what is essentials in our society has got an element of internet connectivity, experience, and advice as a whole part of our life. Now, if you have to cater to a billion population, not just within India, but also outside of India, the experiential wave is a critical part of the overall engagement. So your students and yourself need to ask a question: am I meeting the ulterior motive of consumers? And why am I spending so much time making you understand the experience part of it? Because learning just another technology and platform and the coding or non-coding part of it is not sufficient. It's important for you to align the outcomes in a way that is pleased by billions and billions of students, professors, teachers, citizens, B2B, which is business professionals, or B2C, which is consumer professionals, or B2I, institutional professionals at large. That is when a product is called successful. That is when there is sustenance in a specific product. That is when there is sustenance in services as an area. So it's finally boiling down to just experiences. Nothing else matters. Now let us look at some of the design-led trends that have, disrupted the overall marketplace in the last at least 4 to 5 years. Talking about a decade these days has got no relevance. It's all about last 18 months to 36 months is what makes more differences. As you all know today, there are different ways and means by which we consume technology, and technology is not for the heck of it. Ultimately, it's a super express highway to achieve a means to the end, particularly from an experiential standpoint. Airbnb or MakeMyTrip.com in our Indian landscape, right? We go ahead and book a holiday, book a hotel, and so on and so forth. Very meaningfully engage with a multitude of people from those respective, journeys that they have made. Wired for that matter, and online magazine today for that. Just to give you an Indian version of it, you have Josh as a new magazine which has come out, which is for the youth, and as an area. Similarly, Uber, which is there in other parts of the world, in India as well. Ola for that matter. And there are electric, vehicles which you can use to transport from one place. And all of them are being, linked to millions and billions of people only through technology-led, design-led, innovations as an area. Now, the word innovation is very broad. It's very meaningful, unless and until you make a clear-cut impact of it through different mediums. And digital is one boon to mankind today, where we can touch not just millions, but billions of people in a very personalized way. So if you were to look at what goes into creating these, that will give you a bird's eye view of how a digital as a industry works. And that is what I'm depicting in this slide. It starts with content creation. As mentioned in the initial portion of my conversation, different people earn in different ways. Similarly, different customers engage in different ways, right? If you were to look at a big billion day, which happened just now, during the Diwali time, not all of you who had mobile phones and accessed Amazon or Flipkart had the same set of engagements. Everybody had their own personalized engagement, and this happens through content creation, personalization as an engine, which is driven by artificial intelligence and analytics as an area. Then there's collaboration that happens. Before you buy a product, you definitely want to speak to a few people, understand what's happening about this product, or even talk within your peer group, or it could be social gathering that you may have online. So that is where collaboration comes into picture. You would have seen number of people who liked it, number of people who have given bad ratings about it, or you may find a bunch of people who are your close friends or friends of friends who would have used it, and so on and so forth. And that's how influencing happens through digital as an area. Management and distribution of it. What you learn as an area needs to be distributed out, and that is where share it to your friend as a feature that comes in. It looks a very simple button, but at the end of it, there is a huge technology that runs behind it to make it a lot more relevant as an area. And finally, call to action. After all of these things that is being done in the entire complex cycle of customer engagement, important aspect is to convert them as a customer, close the purchase, or even if it is a not-for-profit engagement, close the entire transaction as well. And this is the 9 yards of digital content lifecycle. Now, why am I explaining this to all of you from a education perspective? What is the relevance here? Now, if you look at this entire digital lifecycle, if you take one of the projects, let me take an example of Government of India project itself, which Adobe incidentally caters, which is Atithi Devo, tourism website of India, right? There are roughly about 55,000 operators, close to about 100,000 traffic that happens on an hourly basis on Government of India tourism website. Now, all of them are from different countries. They like different things about India. And unless and until you cater to them, in a very holistic way, it is not possible. So you have a large team of content creators, close to about 10,000 different permutations and combinations of content is created. Right? To create this, you need a large army of creative professionals and people who also have knowledge of technology area. Now, this is a bulk of the assignments, which is everything to do with whole host of things on whole host of things with respect to content creation, collaboration, and with respect to analytics as an area as well. If you were to look at few specific areas where how you can grow innovations, this is one of the biggest areas. 80% of the venture capital funding in India today happens on digital-led startups, which is content creation and personalization as well. Now, let me quickly jump to the next portion of my slide. Which is all about how can academic institutions make a huge difference in this entire digital landscape. So these are some of the top skills in demand when it comes to creative and digital skills. Now, if I were to fast forward from our previous slide to the current slide, one of the core aspect and a key takeaway that I'd like all of you to know is the fact that there are roughly about 45 different skill sets that make up, and candidate even eligible for attending an interview in any of the large organizations, be it Niti Aayog startups, or whether it is edtech companies that are there in India, or even for the matter your own NPTEL, which does a huge amount of content creation on Adobe platforms for doing various things, or you want to work for a hotel organization like an ITC who's creating huge amount of UI UX design space, or the IT ITS companies across the length and breadth of the country Infosys, TCS, Wipro, or the magazines and electronic e-commerce organizations as well. Let me quickly run through some of these things. AR, VR. Today, everybody creates products. Ultimately, how do you ensure that there's an experiential engagement with product? Augmented reality and virtual reality, creates an opportunity for the seller and the buyer to experience each one of them in a very meaningful way, in a measurable way, and finally, there is an engagement that happens at the nuts and bolts of every product for that matter. Just to give you some numbers, close to about 1.5 lakh assignments are there prevalent in the Indian landscape on AR, VR content creation. Healthcare and real estate leading the charts on this area. User interface, user experience is the largest career opportunity, job opportunity in the landscape. There are roughly about 10,000 relevant applicants who are eligible to apply for a job. The number of jobs that are available in the overall landscape in the marketplace exceeds 5 lakh assignments in the subcontinent. Yes, I repeated, it's 10,000 applicants, 5 lakh plus assignments are there in the limited landscape. This is beyond coding, and it requires a good amount of rigorous aspects in terms of engagement into the user interface, user experience design as an area. Digital imaging, apologies on the typo, though. Digital imaging is a very fundamental fabric of any engagement from visual engagement standpoint. All of you have heard the verb and a product called Photoshop. Photoshop is much beyond creating photographs and giving touch-ups. You can do forensic sciences. There is a whole host of digital forensics that you can do. You can look at architecture. Digital architecture is an area. You can build mock-ups. You can have umpteen number of applications in the digital imaging space, and that is again one of the largest specific space. So I'll not go into all of them. These are some top 3. Technical writing. All of you are from technical background. You know the importance of technical writing. There's a particular industry standards which are created and largely done on Adobe platforms. Web design, application, desktop publishing. My favorite, where video editing and post-production and film and TV post-production. The largest consumed content today is largely because of video. Video consumption is the largest consumed experience today in the world. Just to give you an idea, we have trillion, million, more than million. It's a trillion transactions that happen per second on video today. Whether it's YouTube, whether it is our own Adobe-led online platforms, or whether it is any other edtech companies that you see around the world. That's exactly the reason why the kids are today tuned so much to animations and so on and so forth. Similarly, we as adults as well would like to see each other face to face rather than a mundane PPT or a plain text that comes out as an area. So that is our mentally we are looking at some of these fundamental aspects of how do you engage. And that is where another big opportunity that is there for what is called as OTT platforms. All of you are familiar with over-the-top technologies. I'll not go into details of it, but close to about 100,000 plus assignments are there in the video editing, pre and post-production, film and TV post-production. Gaming as an area. Unless and until you touch the heart of your consumers, you will not be able to sell any product. Same thing applies to education. If we don't touch the heart of the students, we will never be able to enthuse them to sit in the classroom beyond attendance and marks cards and grade sheets. So that's the reality of the situation. So these are some of the critical skills, not just for the students, for you as well, because you can only preach what you practice. So please spend some time. I'm going to share more snippets on where you can get resources on learning some of these things. And we would also be looking at engaging with many of you who are interested in setting up center of excellences and so on and so forth. So quick bird's eye view of the world of Adobe. I'm not trying to sell anything here. I'm just trying to give you an idea of any industry vertical which is not left out on digital and creativity as a platform. Retail, media and entertainment, manufacturing, telecom, banking, IT, ITS, healthcare, government services, armed services, armed forces across the world. Citizen services by smart cities as an area. So if you were to look at the length and breadth of the overall industry verticals, today we are the number one, talk of any boardroom, number one talk of any government when it comes to engaging people, engaging citizens, and engaging consumers in a very holistic way, in a measurable way, and sustainable way. Moving on, a brief slide on, I know many of you have been talking and engaging on NEP, and we have also got many requests in terms of NEP implementation on Adobe related platform. Needless to say, we've been there in the business for about 20 plus years. And one of the fine fabrics that we've always been inculcating, whether it is school education or collegiate education or advanced research as an area, is creativity is a fundamental fabric of education worldwide. And we're happy to see that Government of India and Anilji and many other academic leaders in the Education Ministry have brought to reality the NEP 2020, and it so finally ingrains with Adobe's philosophy of education as well. And some of the points I've highlighted here. How do you shift education to higher order thinking skills? Right? Innovation starts with creativity, and that is where some of these tools of Adobe play a crucial role. Learning outcomes. Outcomes should be the first area that you should discuss in your classrooms, and then reverse engineer towards what is it that you can go after. What are the permutation combinations that you have as an area? And Adobe enables your students to do that, because we believe in 80% practical learning and 20% theoretical as an area, and that is fundamentally change the overall experience of learning as a whole. Blended and distance learning. We firmly believe that any device, anywhere, any place, any moment is an inspiration moment for a student to learn, and that is where one should be enabled. Any institution which is a platform, I would call an institution a platform and an opportunity to enable distance and blended learning and inspire them to do anything anywhere. There are multiple such pointers that we can discuss on NEP and Adobe's alignment. I'll leave it at that. If you have more details that you need from us, please talk to me, and I'll connect you to one of my experts in the team and discuss more. So what do we do currently in terms of bringing these world-class engagement that we are doing corporates, world-class engagement that we are doing with newborn educational institutions to reality in your classrooms? We have implemented a center of excellence model, which we are taking to multiple institutions of higher education and excellence across the length and breadth of subcontinent. We've done this worldwide. We have more than 25,000 universities in the overall landscape. We call this Creative Technology Academy. It's an academy which has got a blended model of creativity and technology very firmly ingrained in it. At the center of it is the technology access part of it, which enables students, teachers, faculties to play with various tools and drive at certain learning outcomes. And you need to be invested in this in the overall thing, because collaboration is everything. So that's where we've created a faculty development platform of our own. I'm happy to share this with you as well. Adobe is more than happy to tie up with many of the world's best content that is available, just through Khan Academy, our own internal experts, Pixar for that matter, and we have self-paced courses for faculty members, and we have distance learning resources as well. And some of the programs that we have are categorized into short-term, medium-term, and long-term in nature. Of course, coupled with a lot of practical learning as an area, and design is at the center of all of these things. Design thinking and innovation is for every single program. Please don't think that it is only for leaders and people who are from technical background. It is for everybody. Design thinking is something that I would urge. If you have an opportunity in the FDPs, I'm more than happy to share some more light on design thinking in a separate forum. So, bird's eye view of some of the short-term, medium-term, and long-term courses. This is for the faculties. We have a large faculty development platform called edX, Adobe edX, where we do live classrooms for faculty members worldwide. There are roughly about 10 million faculty members from different parts of the world who are part of this, who share their best practices. Adobe has got its own experts who share their best practices in live classes. And you can also share your best practices across. You can learn from curriculums from different parts of the world, universities, and so on and so forth. I'd like to highlight on the long-term programs, because this is something that I've been getting as requests time and again from a lot of universities, autonomous colleges, as to how do we do industry-oriented courses, whether it is 1 credit, 2 credit, or multiple programs as an area. These are courses which can be spread across multiple years, whether it is 2 years or 3 years in bits and pieces, or if you are comfortable doing it in one go. These are some very focused programs towards career orientation in nature. Digital design, digital video, visual design, interactive design, technical writing, e-learning, content creation as an area. Some of the largest corporate houses are also joining hands with us in terms of working through giving you real-time problem statements, which are part of the curriculum, which is an IST standard curriculums by nature. So finally, which is the most important part of our offering, is we insist on a student talent showcase by every member who signs up with us on a Center of Excellence, because we believe that the proof is in the pudding. It is only possible for somebody to get a certification and a mastery over a particular subject when they learn, how to showcase their talent. And we have created a beautiful online talent showcase platform called Behance Pro, which is one of the world's best talent showcase platform. Students can go and showcase their talent over there, their project work. No words. Let me tell you, there will be no words. They have to showcase their live prototypes on this platform. You cannot write more than 4 words to 5 words. It's crowdsourcing. It's not just one teacher or two teachers who rates it. Second most important aspect, you can apply for mentoring different parts of the world. You can apply for jobs. You can even apply for reverse bidding if you feel your work is fantastic. Somebody from Pune, Day-1 University, I think one of the students sold their car design to a European firm very recently, which got him some good amount of money as well. And for faculties, you can host your online classes as well through this platform. This is a fantastic platform. So you can have your university showcase many of these things. Today, recruiters no longer look at resumes. They look at the work. They look at how is the student differentiating one from the other. So please go take a look at it in your free time. It's one of the world's best talent showcase platform. From India, without advertising, we have close to approximately about 200, 300,000, and about 3 lakh students who are already making use of this. We would like to see the entire, 300, 400 million students who can take the best use of this opportunity. Some creative campuses, some of the leading institutions from around the world who've been with Adobe implementing these solutions to their universities. Some in the US, Penn State, then we have Fullerton, California State Universities, Arizona State. We have some from Asia as well, Yonsei from Korea, National University of Singapore, and many of them. Close to about 25,000 universities plus about 150 education ministries who implemented this across their respective countries through part of this offering. Some from India as well. We have close to about 30 to 40 implementations that we've done in India. If you are bringing these to your respective classrooms or your respective campuses, I'm happy to engage my team into some of these conversations. Some names that I'd like to call about, very recently we did have a very thorough engagement with the Indian Institute of Science, one of the leading research institutions in the Indian arsenal, which is rated worldwide extremely well as well. So 2 areas that I'd like to leave as takeaway for you from their engagement that I had was one is typically with respect to technical aspects of it has got a humongous amount of impact on students when you deliver them in a creative way and can profess it back. They can have project works that can be done in a very meaningful way, particularly for research and PhD students. And for the UG students, we've seen a tremendous amount of change that has been implemented by IIT Madras as well. Similarly, in some of the private institutions like Manipal, Symbiosis, and MIT, and NIT for that matter. And PSG, one of the leading technical institutions in the overall southern belt, particularly autonomous as an area. We've seen some changes over there, the student behavioral pattern. So at the end of it, what I'd like to leave as a message to you is what got you here won't get you there. That's something very philosophical, but at the same time that's a reality as well. Let me just take my own example of I've been in the data center business, I've been in the computational business, I've been servicing defense of India, I've been servicing manufacturing, IT, ITS, banking, the last 15 plus years before I moved to Adobe. I've been with Adobe for almost about 10 years now. So, but in 20 years of experience, one thing that I've understood is if you don't grow bigger faster, you'll become smaller sooner. And that has got everything to do with creativity at the bottom of your thought process. Please unlearn, relearn, and innovate different processes, because ultimately that is what makes humongous difference to the lowest common denominator in your classroom. And Adobe is always committed to education, fraternity, and excellence, drive in India. And we're here to ignite creativity across all your institutions. So please feel free to reach out to me or to any of my colleagues. Adobe's education offerings will definitely meet many of your contexts, relevance. So please don't think that if you're from chemistry or from political sciences background or from technical background of digital creativity is not relevant. It is very much relevant. It is not just for people who have computer science alone as a subject area or for design as an area. It's across the board. Fabric, whether you're trying to deliver education or whether you're trying to create excellence in startups or whether you're trying to create opportunities for students in advanced technologies. So with that few words, thank you so much for the opportunity, Anilji and the entire AICT team. I look forward to engaging with all of you in your future endeavors.
Thank you so very much, Nagarajuji. I feel very, very privileged that I invited you and consented to our this thing. And it has been such an impressive, engaging, and enriching address where you were absolutely, to the point, explaining what is needed, what is happening for $1 trillion economy, and how creativity and designing that experiential, that our experience with anything which can change the whole shift. I shall get in touch with you soon so that we can also explore more collaborative opportunities for internship, for engaging with you on a much deeper level for our faculty development programs, and even for identifying more core areas in which we can actually conduct FDPs. Now I will invite Dattaji for a formal vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the safe landing of the entire program. Being a former Indian Air Force pilot, you have landed very well. So it's a formal vote of thanks. Graceful and warm morning to all our host, pilot chief guest, honorable guest of honor, worthy coordinators and faculty members. I deem it a great honor and proud privilege to propose vote of thanks for all the dignitaries who have witnessed on this momentous occasion on behalf of AICT ATAL. Firstly, I would like to thank our Lord for countless blessings and making the day a magnificent one. Prepare your student for success in $1 trillion digital economy, digital content creation, and digital creative skill. It renders immense pleasure at this hour that we are blessed to have a chance to thank the chief guest, Sukrit Nagarajuji, Head Educational Digital Media, Adobe India, South Asia, an eminent industry academy expert. The vibration of gratitude attracts more positive thoughts into our lives, accepting our invite and presiding over this function. Thank you so much, sir. Today we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts, which have enlightened our minds towards the new paradigm shift in higher education. You have shown the importance of 8 digital skills that we have been doing and practicing in AICT, that is AR, VR, UI, VX, designer, digital imaging, technical writing. All 8 are important for this ATAL faculty development program. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing time from your busiest schedule. I extend deep thanks of gratitude with profound love and reverence to today's guest of honor, our own very passionate academic leader, Professor Anil D. Sir, Chairman AICT. Thank you for molding us, sir, that what we are today, your deep impact and bonding with us. Thank you so much for highlighting the all flagship initiative of AICT, the significance of ATAL in present scenario. Your gracious presence always energizes us. Thank you so much, sir. Your guiding force stretched us to touch the World Book of Records for ATAL also.